Hey, it's Prosper, welcome back to my channel, hope you're all doing well, and as promised, for those of you that follow me on Twitter and took the poll, today's video is going to be about how to VOD review and analyze gameplay. There is much to gain from watching players better than you. If you can analyze gameplay well enough, you should have most of your answers as to why you aren't as good as those in the pro scene. This is obviously easier said than done, but with enough effort, practice, and critical thinking, you can vastly improve your gameplay in a shorter amount of time. In this episode, I'm going to tell you what you need to look out for when reviewing games and how to efficiently use other people's gameplay for your own benefit. Let's get started. When it comes down to it, there are two perspectives you can VOD review. The first one being your own. It is important to watch your own gameplay, and here's why. It will help you identify obvious mistakes and habits you aren't actually aware of when playing in the moment. This is because we often rely on strategies built off habits and autopilot when playing, which gives us a harder time paying attention to detail. For example, when watching your own gameplay, you may notice you don't pay enough attention to your teammates' actions or the enemies on the radar, since you are now able to put more thought to those things from a spectator's point of view. This is very apparent when watching a pro player play. You may notice some obvious mistakes they make, and this doesn't mean you are better than them, but since you are watching instead of playing, you are more calm and don't have any in-game pressure, which allows you to look at everything more accurately and notice all the details. This is what you need to do for yourself. Try finding your bad habits that you can't pick up on your own when gaming. It is also important for you to VOD review a game that you feel reflects your average performance, not your best or worst games played. This will allow for you to notice the mistakes you make most often instead of just overanalyzing a bad game or not being able to notice mistakes from watching a game where you completely shut down the enemy team. The other perspective, to no surprise, is watching a player who performs at a higher level than you. This can help you develop new strategies, whether it's a new team composition, abusing specifics of the game's meta, or just how they use their abilities or equipment in game, including many other things we can take away. It could also help you identify your weaknesses. What I mean by that is, you might find a pro player's gameplay you really want to mimic, and notice he plays extremely aggressive, since his mechanics allow him to do so. But when you try to adopt that playstyle, it doesn't work out the same. This is where analyzing skills come into play. Being able to identify what mechanics he thrives in that you lack isn't easy, but it is possible, and there are ways to make these key differences more obvious. For instance, back in the Valorant beta, I watched a high-level player and noticed something very interesting about his crosshair movement. At first, I didn't know what it was exactly and just thought of him as having better aim than me. But after a while, I wanted to take a deeper look, so I slowed his gameplay down to half speed to see if I could figure out anything significant, and was able to find out that he rarely micro-adjusts for a kill, meaning the first movement he makes with his mouse is almost always accurate enough to kill his enemy, and usually doesn't need any correcting. I then started watching my own gameplay at the same speed on similar distance targets, and it showed how I would always miss my first initial movement of the mouse by over or under flicking and then readjusting, which I made a bad habit of. Slowing down gameplay isn't our only tool. If you play Valorant and main a character like Phoenix and play on a map like Bind and felt like your planning in-game wasn't the best and you sort of winged every round randomly, watching a player that plays the same role or character on the same map will help provide you with answers the next time you are in that situation. And this does work for most FPS games. The more similarities between a pro's gameplay and yours in terms of the situation you are in, the easier it will be for you to figure out what you need to improve on. It is important to know you will not play just like the pro after you notice the differences between your gameplay and theirs. The point of VOD reviewing is simply that, just to identify issues. To actually fix them is another skill entirely, where you will need to figure out the best way to practice and how to work on those weaknesses. I want to add that when noticing all the differences between your gameplay and a pro player's, don't get discouraged. It means you have a lot to work on, and you now know where to start, which means improvement is soon to come. We can also increase the rate of that improvement by working on each weakness once at a time. It is good to take notes of all you want to improve on, whether you are watching your own gameplay or someone else's, but it is also really unrealistic to work on all of them at once. Try to do your best to work on one thing at a time, until you feel like you have improved significantly or fixed that one problem altogether. These are the general ways you want to VOD review. If you could apply these tips to your analysis of gameplay, you will improve much faster. That wraps it up for this video. Thank you all for watching. Sorry for releasing this video one day late. I got a new mic and it was taking a while for me to figure out how to set it up. But don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Follow me on Twitter at ProsperAims for future polls and updates. I upload every Monday and Friday with videos just like this one. Join the Scholar Court if you haven't already. It's a fast growing Discord server with hundreds of members, packed with tons of info on how to improve. Hope you all have a good day. See you in the next one.